factory defects. The chip that overheated and created flash memory. Picture this. You spend years of your life developing a technology that is gonna revolutionize the entire world, and at the end, you get paid less than the price of a used car. Worse, imagine your own company trying to demote you after that. This is the story of Fujio Masuoka, the man who created flash memory in 1984 and got treated like he was just another regular employee at Toshiba. Today, nah. Discover how he turned a defect that erased data too fast in huge blocks into the most important technology of the 21st century. In the early 1980s, the tech world had a massive problem. The memories that existed back then were a complete disaster. They were either slow as hell, or they cost a fortune, or they lost all your data the second you turned off the power. There was EEPROM, which needed ultraviolet light to erase data. You literally had to put the chip under a special lamp and wait several minutes to clear the memory. It was slow, tedious, ridiculous. And there was EEPROM, which at least worked electrically, but could only erase data byte by byte. A turtle would have been faster. Fujio Masuoka had been working at Toshiba since 1971, and he was obsessed with a concept called non-volatile memory. He wanted to create a memory that would store information even when the power ran out. The guy studied engineering at Tohoku University, graduated in 1966, got his PhD in 1971, and went straight to Toshiba. He was brilliant. Man, he was working with something called floating gate, a microscopic structure inside a transistor that could remember information even without power. The concept had been invented back in the 1960s by Do-won Kong and Simon Shi at Bell Labs. But nobody had figured out how to make it work properly at commercial scale. In 1972, Masuoka and his team created something called SAMOS, Stacked Gate Avalanche Injection Type MOSFET. It was a memory cell with a control gate and an isolated floating gate that could store electrical charge. 4 years later, in 1976, the team updated the design. They managed to demonstrate writing and erasing in 2 kilobytes of memory with a write time of 20 microseconds and an erase time of 5 seconds. For the era, it was absolutely revolutionary. But Masuoka wasn't satisfied. He wanted something faster, more practical, more efficient. Around 1980, Masuoka filed a patent together with a colleague named Hiso. He had developed a memory cell with floating gate technology that could erase entire blocks of memory at once by applying voltage to groups of cells. Instead of erasing byte by byte like traditional EEPROM, the new technology could clear massive sections simultaneously. The speed was insane, man. So fast that one of Masuoka's colleagues, Shodi, suggested calling the technology flash because the process of erasing data resembled the flash of a camera. It happened in the blink of an eye. The name stuck instantly. December 1984. Masuoka was about to present the flash memory results at the IEEE Integrated Electronic Devices Conference in San Francisco, California. The initial capacity was tiny, only 8,192 bytes. Like nowadays, that won't even store a single phone photo. But the concept behind it was revolutionary. Masuoka presented the technology he called NOR Flash. The reaction was immediate. Engineers around the world realized this was going to change everything. 3 years later, in 1987, Masuoka dropped another bomb. He had developed NAND Flash. This one was even denser and more economical than NOR Flash. NAND used Fowler-Nordheim tunneling, which was like 5 to 6 orders of magnitude more efficient than NOR Flash. People initially thought NAND was going to be niche because access was serial instead of random like NOR. But that serial characteristic gave NAND a block property similar to hard drives. and that made it perfect for mass data storage. Toshiba commercially launched NAND flash memory in 1987. And you know how much Masuoka got for inventing flash memory? A few $100 in bonus. Like literally a lousy year-end bonus. Toshiba gave the guy who invented flash memory the equivalent of a tip. Worse, the company tried to demote him. Yeah, you read that right, dude. The guy invented the technology of the century, and Toshiba wanted to give him a negative promotion. Meanwhile, American companies like Intel started making billions of dollars in sales with technology related to Masuoka's invention. Toshiba itself also made a fortune. The flash memory market started exploding. By 2001, sales of semiconductors based on flash memory hit $76 billion. These chips were used in products worth over $3 trillion. And you know what Toshiba told the press? The company's PR department told Forbes that Intel invented flash memory. Toshiba literally tried to erase its own engineer from history. In 1994, Masuoka made a decision that in Japan was considered total betrayal. He left Toshiba and became a professor at Tohoku University. In Japan, abandoning a major corporation after decades of service was like spitting on the corporate loyalty culture that dominates the country to this day. But Masuoka was sick of being treated like nothing, and he didn't stop there. In 2004, Masuoka sued Toshiba. He demanded 1 billion yen, about $9 million, in compensation for work that generated hundreds of billions for the company. He argued he was forced to hand over the patent to Toshiba when he was still an employee. The lawsuit dragged on for years. In July 2006, the settlement came. Toshiba agreed to pay Masuoka 87 million yen. That converts to $758,000. Yet, the inventor of flash memory, the technology that by 2006 was already moving $25 billion a year in the market, got less than $800,000. Masuoka tried to see the bright side and said, "It is a settlement that encourages inventors. But let's do the real math here. Man, it was as if Toshiba had given Masuoka literally less than 1 cent for every $1 million generated by his invention." Today, in 2025, flash memory is absolutely everywhere. It's in the flash drive you use to transfer files in your camera's SD card, in the SSD that replaced your computer's hard drive, in the smartphone that stores thousands of photos and videos. Without Masuoka's invention, the digital revolution of the 2000s and 2010s simply wouldn't have happened. There'd be no iPhone, no Android, no Instagram, full of photos. Mobile computing exists because of flash memory. The NAND technology that Masuoka developed in 1987 became the absolute industry standard. Why? Because it's denser, more scalable, more efficient. It uses low-current Fowler-Norheim tunneling that is literally millions of times more efficient than the hot electron injection used in NOR flash. And here's the twist of the whole story! Dude! Flash memory was considered kind of defective in the beginning. Why? Because it erased data too fast in huge blocks. Traditionally, pyramids erased byte by byte, giving more control. But flash erased entire blocks at once. Engineers initially thought this was going to be a massive limitation. How are you gonna control exactly which data to erase if the memory cleared enormous blocks at once? But then people realized this isn't a bug, it's a feature. The fact that it erased in blocks made flash memory perfect for hard drive-like data storage. You don't need to erase byte by byte when you're dealing with photo, video, music files. You erase the entire file at once. Flash memory's limitation transformed into its greatest advantage. It was fast precisely because it erased in blocks. The defect became the most important technology of the last 40 years. The story of flash memory proves a painful truth. Sometimes the biggest factory defect is UNT in the product. It's in the system that decides who deserves recognition for creating the product. Masuoka took a defect and transformed it into the most important technology of the last 40 years. But the real defect wasn't in his chip. It was in the system that failed to recognize the value of what he had created. He broke Japanese corporate loyalty to claim the bare minimum of justice. Every time you save a photo on your phone, you're using Fujio Masuoka's invention. But you probably never heard of him before. If this story made you mad, drop a like and subscribe to the Factory Defects channel. Comment below, what technology do you use every day without knowing who created it? On the next Factory Defects, the story of the medicine that was supposed to cure headaches but ended up creating the most addictive drink on the planet.